mind when you think about, I mean, this was a show that got canceled, not even all the way through its first season. And then it got a movie, which we'll talk about that too. But then 20 plus, almost 25 years later, you're in a crowd this big singing the theme song to you. I mean, who could another show that has that? What goes through your mind when you hear that?
I'm just always surprised anybody comes to see it. You know, there are wheelchairs and
underdog story about an underdog story, really. I don't know. There's a seed there that I think we get it, and it just lives on and on. I did cry once today. I don't know. There was a beautiful family. I haven't seen them again, but they came up and their little 5-year-old sang the theme song to me, and I cried. It was really beautiful.
They didn't come to see me. I kind of hate them.
Are you in here, that family? Oh good, now they don't have to know.
They were going to come after the panel, but not anymore.
Going back, how much, when you got these roles, how much did you know about Simon and River when you started filming?
I knew nothing at all.
It's so funny looking back on it because that was the first time I ever auditioned for a series regular. And
That's fucking nuts.
I had never, so they never gave me the script, but now looking back after doing this for a few years, I would not go to a series audition without reading the script. And I got 2 pages. Just 2 pages, but I felt like I knew her, and that's how Joss writes. I have some funny stories about that, about how there's something about the way he writes that is so full-bodied that I felt like I knew River, and it was easy for me to get inspired for my audition just from having those 2 pages. And I don't know when I remember our first read through, but there was hardly anything, even like a character description.
Yeah. I don't even think I had 2 pages. I just had in the pilot when Simon's explaining to the crew, like, what happened to River, blah, blah, blah. I had that. That was basically it for my audition. And I was like, wow, I don't know what the hell is going on, but this is really, really cool and interesting. And then I met Joss, and I think that really sort of sealed the deal for me. I just wanted to work with him. And then the script sort of surfaced, and then I was like, oh wow, this is something really spectacular. But yeah, there was not a lot. Although when we did the series, Joss and Tim used to come to set every time they broke a story. It was like watching 2 little children, yeah! And they would come and they would tell us what they just came up with, and it was infectious to be a part of their process, So.
That's incredible. Are there any elements of their story? I mean, I feel like we really only peeled the first layer of the onion, even just with the 14 episodes in the movie. Is there anything that you knew about those characters that we didn't get to see yet?
There were some of our characters had more backstory than I would say ours did. And Joss was not, we would get little flashes of genius, like maybe over a dinner party or something, where he would tell us like it was a campfire story, and we would try to get him to drink another glass of wine and ask a little question here or there. It was really, it was amazing how much life each character had. I talk about that at my table a lot, when we reminisce. I say, I feel like each character could have had their own series or their own film because they were so full. But I couldn't tell you anything else about River in particular that wasn't explored in the film. And then we also did the River Tams sessions as a, I don't know if any of you saw them, but they were released online about her time in the institution. And those were crazy. He just wrote those on the fly. We did them as part of the advertising campaign for the film. But other than that, that's all I know.
What was the call like when the movie was greenlit? Because you're a few years out from the show being on. What was that conversation or that call when it was official?
We were having dinner at Joss's house, and I was a high maintenance picky eater, and he was making
He's
sea
a good
bass.
cook. Yes,
And he was doing a piece of sea bass for me. And he said he was off to Cape Cod to finish the script, and I was like, what do you mean? Because we had heard rumblings, but it was my 5th canceled show with Fox, and I was so jaded at that point that when they talked about, oh, we're gonna find another life for the show, like I was like, yeah, good luck with that, you know. So when there was all this talk about a movie, I really didn't. I don't know. I was excited, of course, but I think I had lost faith that would happen. And then when we were at his house that night, and he was saying things going, and I was like, what do you're right? And he was like, oh yeah, like full on, we have producers attached, we have, you know, so he was just going to finish the script. So that was, I think, the first time for me that I was like, oh, this might be something. But then the read-through, for me, was like, oh, okay. We hadn't seen each other, a lot of us hadn't seen each other in so long because our lives are so busy, and I think I kept losing my spot in the script because I was just like gazing at everybody as they would read their lines. Like, you know, these people who I loved saying the words of these characters who I missed, and that's for me when it truly was solidified.
How about for you, Summer? Was there a moment?
I was there with the sea bass. I was there. We had, I think everything was so new for me because I had just got there, so everything seemed possible to me and yet impossible. For example, when the show got canceled, I thought, well, oh, it was fun to be an actress while it lasted, you know, and I thought that was it. And we went over to Nathan's house. We all cried together, and
I fell through a hedge.
Yes, we did what we had to do to get through the sadness. Okay.
You have to tell us the hedge story. Sorry. What happened?
Really quite simple. I drank too much. Well before I got sober. Yeah, there was some hedge falling.
Yeah, but we were really close, and that sort of thing never happened to me after. I was on other shows, and yes, it was sad, but it wasn't the same. Somehow we felt like and I wouldn't say that we felt like outcasts. We were sort of in the beginning of our careers, most of us, but we were so bonded. And our studio, even though they hired us, we felt like they didn't really get us, and we felt like we were on the edge the whole time. So I think that bonded us together even more. And yeah, I remember that night, and then we did our first ever convention together in England. Do you remember that? That was I threw away my passport at Heathrow, and because I had never been overseas before, I got my passport to do a convention. I mean, that's just, everything was a first for me. And Joss trying to explain what conventions were to us. We didn't, you know, thought people are gonna ask us to, they're gonna want to take pictures and sign autographs. We didn't know what to expect, and then we all went to England, and that's when it kind of started, like this whole thing that, oh, this is different, because we realized that the fans were not going to let it die. And now here we are. Still alive! Well, we're not letting it die.
Yeah, early on with the convention, because we loved the show so much, obviously we loved each other, so much. And then I think with the conventions, we're like, oh, people got it. Like, you know, because we did feel misunderstood by the network, for sure. I mean, Joss would be like, I just came back from a meeting with the network and they're having issues with, you know, they'd be like, I don't get it, there are horses in outer space. And Joss was like, yeah, that's the point of the show. And they'd be like, where are the lasers? Where are the aliens? And Joss was like, yep, that's not the show. You know? And then the whole duct tape, there's still duct tape in our show. Well, why would they use duct tape? And Joss is like, because that's the show. And we just sort of always felt, and then, you know, why not, you know, premiere the show with the second episode? Like, that makes so much sense.
What was that conversation among all of you when that news broke, that they were going to launch with the second episode?
I don't know if I was aware of that. I think, I don't
I
know.
remember Adam sort of having a better feel for it. He would talk about the fact that we were on Fridays and what time and everything. I didn't understand any of it. It was crazy. I remember the first time our sort of commercial came on. I was the girl in the box. Did anybody see that? Remember our very first advertisement? And a girl in a box. We made it! Adam, you know, he had a little bit of a better feel for the vibe at Fox. But they did keep rehiring us. They liked us.
Sounds not bitter at all.
I never worked for Fox again.
Wait, so they had those all the time, they cast you.
Yeah,
Because-
then they just threw me away.
No, yeah, that. Sorry. No. I don't remember ever really realizing it. I just didn't have a good enough feel for it. And it's probably better that way. I do remember our last time being all together on set too, when we were doing the message, yeah. We were all standing around the casket. That's the last day I remember us all being. Is that the last day we were together?
I think that's, yeah. But that was one of the best bloopers ever. It used to
You guys saw the blooper?
You know, and Nathan kind of ducked under the camera and then popped up, like, as the camera was going at 360. And it's like one of the things I'm most mad at myself for, because I could not laugh, and I wanted to be like as cool as Nathan and like not laugh.
Didn't want to ruin it.
And I was like, I'm going to be so serious, and then he comes next to me, I'm like,
I have to.
I feel like that had to happen more. That wasn't the first time that happened on set. Were there various hijinks that you recall that stand out? Any moments that still make you laugh when you think of them?
I mean,
So many.
so many.
Too many. He was so funny.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He's the funniest
There's
person.
a lot of pranks. A lot of, you know, my therapist says I'm handling that well now.
Yeah, the pet monkey was my favorite, where we had a monkey on set, and the prop master had this monkey that had a sound effect, and it would giggle, and it would ruin takes, right? Isn't that why Nathan didn't like the little monkey?
I don't know anything about a monkey.
You don't remember this? Wait,
This
was it a monkey?
I have no idea, honestly, I have no idea.
Remember he kidnapped the monkey and then he sent the monkey on a bunch of trips and then sent ransom letters to
Oh my god.
the prop master? And then he cut the monkey's hand off and he nailed the hand to Skip?
Got that.
Yeah, he threatened him and everything. It was funny.
Not for the monkey.
I completely forgot about that.
Cut his hand off. Yeah, but it was great.
So fun.
We were always on set together too, you know, and over the years you're on a lot of sets and they want to leave, know, they just want to go home. They're clocking in, they're clocking out, and they're just not having fun with it anymore. But we would hang out together, and we would all hang out on the soundstage together, which is, I've been on other shows where actors will wait until everybody else is on set, and then they'll make the ADs come and tell them, no, we really need you, everybody else is already there. Whereas on our set, we would hang out together and talk together.
Yeah, my mom came to visit once, and I had been on another show for Fox that got canceled. Surprise, surprise. And it was a very, very fast-paced, sort of like just a lot of. It was a really tough environment. And I had my parents come. It was in New York. They live in New York. So it was easy for them to come, and I just remember them, I was like, I'm so sorry, and they were sort of being kind of like shoved, like kind of out of the way the whole time, and then my mom came to visit, and like Josh like put a chair right next to his, so that she was at Video Village, and that was the day that Nathan did the thing with the message, and you know, we did it during rehearsal. Nathan did that thing during rehearsal, and Josh was like, let's roll and let's do that again. It's just too precious. We can't miss that. And my mom couldn't believe that we took the time to, you know, film a joke essentially, and that everyone was so warm and like such like a light spirit on set. And we still made our days. Like, you know, you can go like 14, 16, sometimes 18-hour days, and you know, we pretty much got it done in like 12 hours each day.
Didn't the movie also come in a little under budget too? I read that somewhere. But it was a hair under budget?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
It's amazing. I mean, because it looked great for what the budget was.
I know, yeah. We weren't money focused at all. We were just like, so excited to be back.
I did it for free.
Summer, what do you remember about shooting that incredible fight scene at the beginning of the movie
that's
in
like
the
my
bar?
favorite scene.
First of all, proof that some people are dancers, because that was hard.
You worked
I worked hard.
Summer was working on that before there was even like 100% green light. You were doing, Summer worked would do it before work, during the break. We would all wrap and go probably to Nathan's to eat bean dip, and Summer would stay and go over and over and over. I mean, you worked so hard on that, and
Thank you.
It showed.
I did. I'm so grateful for it now. There were times when it did really push me. I thought that I knew how to work hard because I was a ballet dancer, but learning how to do the martial arts myself, it required me to give everything that I had, and the stunt team was, they were a dream. Chad Stahelski was my hero. I mean, I'm still really scared of him. I ran into him on another set. He put his hands on my shoulders from behind, and I looked up and I saw who it was, and I thought, oh God, what are they gonna make me do? And because he believed in me that I could do it myself. And I've been on other sets where they say they're gonna have the actors do it, but then it's like you show up and they've already shot half of it. But the reason why I ended up doing it myself is because Joss did not want to do cutaways. He wanted to shoot the fight from start to finish, so you couldn't hide that it wasn't me. So the other really fun part is that because you couldn't hide that it was me, I had to actually make contact with all the stunt guys, so I got to actually kick them and punch them. It was supposed to be a light tap, but since, you know, I'm not a professional, the guys, it was so funny that my favorite story, I tell it all, I've been telling it for a while now, is that we learned both fight scenes from start to finish, and then we got ready to do the Reaver fight, and all the guys had their Reaver masks on, and I couldn't tell who was who. So I couldn't tell who to punch and who to kick. So then they had to start calling out their name so that I would know if it was Mike I was supposed to kick in the face or Danny I was supposed to punch in the stomach. And so that made it we really bonded over that. That was fun.
It is. Can we give her a round of applause for that?
It really is my favorite scene. And the whole, when people ask me, like, what's your favorite, that is my favorite scene.
Thank you.
And it really was like a ballet, it was stunning.
Well, they worked with what they had, and
It was an amazing ballet dance.
so I was a Gumby, and so they focused on my flexibility, and the guys worked really hard to make me look tough.
It really, in rewatching it for this, it is the most elegant fight scene I've ever seen. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So-
So a lot of respect for the guys. I have to say, I hope I thanked them enough. I think about that still. Did I say thank you? Thank you.
So is there a scene, I'm going to say outside of that one, since we've just broken it down, that stands out for each of you as one that you feel most proud of? And Sean, you have to go first this time.
Oh, I have to talk about a scene I did?
Remember your monologue that you had to learn the day of that they rewrote, and it was.
That was Ariel, right? Yeah. They gave me the whole, we called it the Ocean's 11 scene when he's like pitching the whole, and I got that the night before when I was about to leave, and they're like, we came up with this awesome idea. I'm so sorry. And I had to learn that. Yeah, that was a good, I don't know. I'm not going to toot my own horn.
This is the place to do it.
I'll toot your horn. I tell this story all the time too, but I'm bringing it out again.
I really love the scene when I get shot. And
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
I really love the scene so much because I just like look up and I see, I see everybody and like I wasn't doing anything. It was just like, I don't know, like for me as an actor, it felt like, I felt such a part of this group that was, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I was just laying there,
Swept us all up. I did not think we were doing that scene that afternoon. I was not prepared to do it. I don't know why. And when I found out we were doing it, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. I have to really take some time to think about how I'm going to do such an emotional scene. But as soon as you did the rehearsal and you fell back, I just started crying. And it was so real that Joss had to ask me to stop crying so loud during your close-up. And that's a testament to how amazing he is as an actor and how he just kind of carries you in his wake. Like you don't have to do anything but just be there. It felt so real for us. All those days when we were shooting that final battle, when we were together, it felt more like therapy than like acting because we were really swept up in it.
Yeah, the whole sort of like the tail end of like, until the fight, that was all like when Gina said, he ain't coming, when Kaylee was like, Wash, where's Wash? And I just got to chill again. Because every time she said that,
Yeah. Okay, on that note, we're going to open this up for audience questions. I believe there are mics on both sides this time.
sorry, my mom keeps calling. We won't answer that. It'll take us too long.
I'm going to let you go first. Please say your name and where you're from as well.
Hi, I'm Julia. Nice to see you guys again. Hi. From Maryland. I was wondering if you could share an anecdote about the guest stars that you had on Firefly. You had some really amazing folks that came on your show for such a short length of time. So I was wondering who were your favorite guest stars that you got to work with?
Probably Christina.
I like Christina.
Yeah, I mean, she's the first one that comes to mind. But then again, I loved Carlos, and and Mark, of course. I mean, I don't even think of Mark as a guest because he's one of us. I mean, he did a really amazing job finding lovable guests too. And another thing that I'll say about Nathan is that, you know, he was our captain and he really set the tone for how, sort of our culture. And I remember we would love our guests. We wouldn't want them to leave, and they would be one of us and be one of our beloveds. And there was not a sense of, oh, that's, you know, those are the regulars over there and they've got their own thing. We really, and I've been on other sets where you can really feel that you're there to get shot, or you're there to, you know, be on the medical bed and then leave. But yeah, we were close.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
And that's, yeah, I like that you said that's all Nathan. There's like something to be said about number one on the call sheet sets the tone. Nathan knew every person that was on the crew, every grip, every electric, caterer, props, knew them, knew their children's names, knew it was such a warm, embracing. So yes, guests would come in and didn't feel like guests. They felt sort of like just part of the family. Christina comes to mind, Mark, of course.
I know, I'm thinking.
How about Zac Efron as young Simon? You guys remember that?
Yes, we weren't there for that though. I did see him.
That's actually the funniest question I ever got. I was in Australia. I was doing a panel with Amy Acker, and somebody got all the way back there and said, "Hi, this question is for Sean. I just wondered, how does it feel now that Zac Efron's career has eclipsed yours?" And Amy was so sweet. She was like, don't answer that. Don't answer that. I was like, no, that's fine. But the audience did the exact same thing. Everyone was like, oh, man. I was like, it's okay. But we didn't work. A lot of those flashback scenes, we weren't there for that day. So I never met him.
Yeah.
But
But God bless him if he's doing good.
Thank you. We're going to go over here. We're going to keep bouncing.
Hi, my name is Kat. I'm from South Riding, Virginia. My question, well, basically, I love it when you guys have little mini reunions and other shows, Con Man being an example.
We were just talking about that on the way to the panel.
To see
That's
all
so
of you
funny.
guys in there, and I know there's been the Rookie and Castle, you guys have done little cameos, and I know Alan's show, Resident Alien, is coming up, and I think one of your members is joining that along with Nathan. Have you guys considered joining Resident Alien or been asked at all?
Thanks, guys.
I have not been asked. Thanks for reminding me. No, I honestly think that anything that we were if we were asked, I think there's sort of like this unspoken loyalty that if anyone were to ask me to do anything, well, not anything, but, you know, I think like Nathan asked me to come do I was like, of course, like, and Con Man was another one of them where I was like, of course, like, you don't even have to bitch it to me, you know.
Yeah, we're like that with each other. And that's one of the only jobs that I've done since I've had my girls has been projects for our Firefly family. I show up for those, and then other than that, I'm kind of taking time. But it is kind of unspoken. We would be there for each other for sure. We use any excuse to get together.
Well, I think we should sign a petition to get you guys on.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. Let's go over here.
Hi, I'm Laura from Virginia, and I loved Firefly, and I really loved it when you were on The Big Bang Theory and you kind of played yourself. And I'm wondering if either of you have any crazy fan encounters that kind of meet up to that level.
I made a promise years ago that any encounters that would make really great stories shall remain private.
One time when I was in Australia,
My mind legally really have to require privacy, but yeah, what about you? There's been some crazy art too. Some really amazing cross stitch over the years. Some busts, and
Jill and I once got this guy. We were like, sure, we'll sign your art, of course. And then we were like, she's like my sister. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, like full on, like, I was like, what the? I didn't want to touch it.
how do you sign that?
Did you get one too?
No, I'm asking her how to sign. Anyway.
And Vic is out there. Let's go over here.
Hi, my name is Lawrence. I'm from Maryland. I won't feel bad if you just refuse, but do you remember how to curse in Chinese? Because I thought that was a really cool aspect of the script.
I did not.
I know I cussed on the show, but I don't remember it. Do you remember it?
No.
We'll never know.
I didn't get a lot of Chinese at all. I got Mei Mei,
Right.
which is like one of my favorites, and then I got Sean Ma, which is kind of my name. And that's it. But it was so fun because we used to get. Does everybody remember? Probably the young kids here don't remember. There was something called a cassette tape. And we would show up to work and we had the recording of the, I didn't, but it was, Alan got so much and he got so frustrated when he couldn't get it that you would hear from his trailer, John, gotcha! He was listening to it over and over and over again. That was the only way to learn it. So that was always fun when Alan got it. And not me. I'd be like, Alan, Shama? It's not that hard, Alan. Shama.
Thank you so much. We're going to go over here.
Hi, my name is Stacy. I'm also from Maryland. I was also going to say something about one of your shows that you appeared on with Jewel. Whole thing called Sanctuary. Do you remember that? You and Joel both.
Warehouse 13?
Almost Warehouse, that maybe was. I thought it was Sanctuary. It's from the same company.
No.
No, it was Sanctuary.
I promise you I've never been on a show. Where I was on the show Warehouse 13 with Jewel.
Oh, maybe that was it.
They were both on Sci-Fi.
Huh?
They were both on the same network, Sci-Fi.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's a fair mistake. It's all good.
Yeah.
So the point would, have you guys worked together, like in little bits and pieces, done Easter egg quick things like other shows happen?
That was my first reunion with Jewel. That was really my first reunion with anybody from the cast on any other set besides ours. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, except I had to wear like a one-piece purple suit with these really comfortable boots, and why they did it was like so tight that it was like pulling from my shoulders to down there. It was so awful and uncomfortable, and every time I walked on set, Jewel just laughed. And I had to wear it like for night shoots and the things we do.
First the vest and then a purple suit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had that one when I was on Arrow. They finally put me in the pleather, the pleather full body, and I could not get the pants on. My husband would have to hold me up and shake me into them and put the suspenders on. Oh, yeah, it's not as glamorous as it might look on screen.
Thank you guys very much.
It does look great on screen, though. Over here.
Hi, I'm Katie from Richmond. The question's for both of you. If River had never gone to the Academy and wasn't experimented on by the Alliance, what would the future have looked like for your characters?
Oh, we would have missed the whole adventure.
There probably would have been some pretentious fuck of a doctor. Like pampered
Sorry for
life.
everyone in the medical field. No, yeah, I had a feeling that we came from some affluence.
Oh yeah. That's Zac Efron.
Yeah, so I don't know, River, I think she would have ended up like in the circus or something, like levitating or doing magic on people, and yeah, you would have been some surgeon in a high-rise on a beautiful planet.
Never would have met Kaylee.
Oh.
So it was all meant
Yeah.
to be.
It was all for the best. I took one for the team. I let them jab me in the forehead so you can have your space romance. It's all worth it.
Hey, thanks for getting tortured. Thanks, sis.
Thank you so much. Over here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michael from Maryland. Thank you so much for being here. This has been a mighty fine shindig. My question is, was there any experience you had on the set of Firefly or Serenity that kind of, like, you took with you for the rest of your work that forms, like, choices you made later on, anything like that?
That's a great question.
So many.
I think I learned what an ensemble truly is. I don't know. That's a great question.
I learned how to stand on my mark. Finally, by the end of the season. In fact, I was so bad. I mean, my very first job was a scene with David Boreanaz, and I got cast in Angel when I was still a dancer. I wasn't an actress yet, and I was so nervous that my first take, David Boreanaz came up afterwards and he was like, "Yeah, you see that big X on the floor? You stand on it." And then when I got to Firefly, I was so nervous and so swept up in the character that a lot of times I wouldn't be standing in my light, and so the cameraman, Alan, would reach around from behind the camera and push me into my light. That's how bad it was. And everybody, I mean, I know you are over it.
Alan. No, Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
I forgot about it.
I know.
Nathan bumped into him.
Alan. Really?
Yeah, no, aren't you? Didn't you see the picture on the thread? We have a thread,
Oh, that's
the
right.
Firefly family thread.
And he looked so good.
Yeah.
Time hasn't touched him.
No.
Yeah, so anyway, I learned a lot. I learned how to put the new pages into the script. I needed help with that, correlating all of the script changes. I was a mess. It worked. I used it for the character. But also, I would say the last thing is learning from Nathan how to have joy for what you're doing and how to truly appreciate it and be in the moment. Sometimes, actors can get kind of lost in it, I think, and start to take it for granted. And we really didn't. We were really joyful and grateful and happy to be there. And so I'd like to think that I took that with me.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one, maybe two more.
Hi, my name is Faith. I'm from New Jersey. My question is for Summer. It's about the Sarah Connor Chronicles, playing Cameron. How were you able to get the mindset of walking like a Terminator, acting like a Terminator? Did you ever find yourself doing the Terminator walk, just around the house or something? That's a
So actually, just to give you an illustration of how bad it got, it took so much work to strip down everything and not react, and even learn how to shoot my weapons without blinking. And so then when I left the show, I had to try to get another job, and I really wanted to do period films. That was always my dream. When I first moved to Hollywood, I wanted to either do westerns or do some kind of, I just wanted to be, swept up in a period drama. And so I went and I had a really big audition, and I worked hard on it. And afterwards, my manager called me and she was like, "Summer, I got your feedback. They said you were great if only you had blinked." Didn't blink. So, yeah, it took me a while. We had Terminator school in the beginning too, because we had 3 Terminators on our show, and we were all different models. So we went to the dance studio, and we had a workshop where we all decided how our model would move and behave. So it was really fun. I got to use my dance training again to move into the character that way first. It was a lot of fun. I love your headbands. You look magical.
All right, if we're quick, we can get this last one right here.
Hello, my name is Shane. I'm from Ferrisburg, Virginia, and my question is, well, whether or not you can disclose it, my question is, what is something that you kept from the set of Firefly or Serenity that you really appreciate?
We get this question often.
Oh, you do, really?
And I'm always amazed at what our castmates got away with.
I'm always embarrassed at this question because I didn't rip a side of the ship off and take it home with me. I took my boots. It's so boring. Let's not even talk about it.
It's not exciting. I followed the rules. They told us not to, and so I didn't. And I don't think I took anything. Maybe some socks, maybe some undergarments. I don't know. I did not take that green jumpsuit that they put me in for Serenity, and you didn't want any of your vests.
Although that bonfire was real fun when I burned them all. Just kidding.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you to the incredible